A drawback though. You can't just give the GSP money though. They just go back to wasting it or giving it to fucking the corrupt government, dude. You would have to. It would have to be conditional. You're gonna have to improve your prison system. You know what I mean? But an evolving land franchise in the prison systems, you have to. I don't know. It'd be a huge deal. But there's prison systems all over the world that are a lot better than ours. Like Germany has a good prison system. A lot of European countries have really good prison systems that are good at reforming the criminal mind. They do a very good job. They're treated humanely. They aren't as big of a problem in Europe when they've been to prison. You know what I mean? And they don't have the same type of criminal problems that we have. And now one of the hugest things I've experienced in Georgia is just the institutionalized violence in black families. And black families are it's being pushed on them to separate them and to break up their families. And this is another thing that's making it so hard for them to have a strong community. And that's the reason the whole critical race theory is such a big deal at Harvard, is because they don't have a strong community. And it's because of, you think about the slave practices and its institutionalized brutality, and it's still in their families after all this time because they've had such a hard time getting equality of opportunity and rights in this country. And that's just reality. You know what I mean? We're only coming away from all this voting rights nonsense in the 60s and 70s, and y'all are bringing it right back. Like, you know what I mean? The Republicans are bringing back all this voter registration difficulty now, after 30, 40 years of progress. And it's sad. It's sad and terrible. But yeah, it should be conditional. I'm not just going to give them money that you know what I mean? You gotta use it to improve the system. You gotta use it to make a better system so that people can actually improve their lives, and our society in general will have less crime. And as far as like gangs go, like you need to take the gangs away, guys. The gangs aren't working, dude. Y'all need to be franchises, and then you need to have the institution set up to teach them how to have a franchise of their own that's built on corporate model and not defending each other from violence. That's stupid. We don't need that. This is modern day. It's over with. We don't need violence, dude. Yeah, we're fighting with different kind of weapons. It's a whole different world we live in. You know what I mean? And violence is just one of those things that just gets in the way of making money. You know what I mean? If you're going to be violent, it should be a sporting competition. You know what I mean? Or it should be a battle or a war, something official. Violence for any other reason, just, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna get into fights. It's just how it goes, but you just be sporting about it at the very least. But violence in itself is bad. Um, and so but violent people can be quarantined now to where that we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to, you know what I mean? We live in a world with technology where if you don't want to experience violence from others, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have violence forced on you. That's the thing about my pacifism that bothers me so greatly, is that violence doesn't bother me. I'm all about violence. I'm a human being on planet Earth. Violence is very necessary to our survival and our life, and that's just the cruel nature of the world. But as a pacifist, I like violence against someone that's not interested. You know what I mean? That's the violence I'm not okay with. That's the violence I'm not okay with, because I'm not okay with violence. I've had my share of violence. I've had my fill of violence. I've climbed to the tip top of that violence mountain. I want no more. And so I've quit. I've quit. I've hung it up. I'm too old. You know what I mean? Let the young guys have it. Y'all go for it. You know what I mean? I got nothing left to prove. I'm good on all that. Like, and as far as violence goes in America, like, I know that this global war on terror is using broadcast technology to confuse us about who's the enemy, who's a good guy, and who's a bad guy. So I can't tell who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, who's right and who's wrong, and I'm not going to make mistakes. So I'm not going to do violence. I'm not going to do violence to myself or others. So I'm not going to be the problem. That's the reason that pacifist movement is what I put out to the world. It's like, y'all do this right now if you want to be safe in America, because we got some creeper peepers, and they on the creep, dude. They are straight up thinking that there's a massive, conspiracy, and the deep state took over the country, and they got to go take it back by taking out their neighbors and shit, retarded shit. Yeah, some fraud clown bullshit party shit. And it's garbage, because you gave this special ring of power technology to just this select few to use, and everybody else is getting fucked that doesn't have the technology. And that's not cool. Not cool at all. But yeah, I do hope that our prison systems can be a lot better, and they can be evolving land franchises, and these prisoners can invest in their own future and upgrade their, you know what I mean? They're not making any money the way they work, the way you work them now. Nobody. The 13th Amendment worker is going to spend the entire work effort sabotaging the work effort to never fucking pay out. You know what I mean? That's just the majority of prisoners. There's a that's not the majority. There's going to be all kinds of people that'll work, do good, but for the most part, you're going to have so many people in the prison system that are going to sabotage it for everything it's worth, that it's just not even worth doing. You know what I mean? It's kind of pointless. You know what I mean?